Welcome in here on a Saturday afternoon from LaGrange, Ohio at Keystone Stadium, bringing you a doubleheader in our regular season finale here on the Lorain County Sports Network of Junior LC8 football. Our first matchup of the afternoon is going to feature the Black River Pirates as well as the Firelands Falcons. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Max Drummond, being joined alongside Jaron Videncourt, and we also have Sam Sovacle here running the ship, and be joined by Paul Williams on the camera. Jared, we have reached our regular season finale. How's it feel to be here?
It has flown by for sure, Max. And these two teams will not only face each other today, but they're going to face each other in the playoffs next week, along with our other doubleheader we have today between Columbia and Keystone. They will face each other today as long as next week in the playoffs as well. So if you're these teams today, this is just a field game. It doesn't matter the result because you're going to face each other next week either way. So this is just a field game. Try stuff out. See what works, see what doesn't. It's towards the end of the season. You're already in the playoffs. You already know who you're going to face. So why not let it fly?
Well, and that's a great point you bring up there, as we'll now get our first play underway with Black River starting on offense here in the first quarter. We'll get a motion across the formation, and they'll hand it off left side. This is going to be around the perimeter. Trying to work that there is Carter Frost, and he'll pick up just a couple there to open the game.
Firelands won the toss, but they deferred to the second half. So Black River gets the ball to start out. The last time we saw Black River was last week in Wellington. They won 6-0. Last time we saw Firelands was week 4, where they lost 14-6 at Brookside. That was at Brookside as well. So getting to see Black River again. Haven't seen Firelands in a while. Let's see if they improve since week 4.
Yeah, and one thing about this Firelands team that stands out is they're obviously defense first, and they've got a lot of big kids up there on the front line. And now it's time to see at this point in the season if their offense is caught up a little bit, can help them out. But as you mentioned, they deferred, so we won't see that for a little longer. Black River right here trying to stretch it out to the opposite side, this time breaking a couple tackles. It's going to be Lincoln Ford as he gets up to around the 40, but he'll stay in bounds according to the officials.
And we've seen it all year long, this running game by Black River, led by that quarterback, James O'Connor. You just saw Lincoln Ford right there. And we also have Carter Frost that can run the ball, Murray Klein Jr., as well as Mason Mangan. So expect a lot of runs here today by this Black River Pirates offense.
Well, I think you bring up a great point there. That's where we've seen a lot of these teams have success, is when they don't put all the burden on one guy, when they're able to spread it out a little bit, and this Black River team certainly can do that.
And James O'Connor, he's a dual threat quarterback. We've seen him many times this season have a lot of short running touchdowns, and he's capable of doing that here today against Firelands.
He may be called on here to make a play as it's 3rd and around 5 to go here in this opening quarter of play, as we're just under 7 minutes to go on a running clock. O'Connor will take it around the left side, but he's not getting away, and then that's going to get cleaned up and forced a 4th down there for the Pirates offense.
Yeah, he was trying to go to that left side there. Lincoln Ford not able to get the block. And that's going to bring up 4th and long for Black River. We'll see if they elect a 25-yard punt or elect to go for it. You would think they would go for the 25-yard punt, but we'll see what they choose to do.
Yeah, this early in the game could be the wise option. Harrison Leonhardt was the one that was able to clean up that play, get the nice tackle in the backfield as he shed a block or two to get there. So, as you said, it will go for the 25-yard punt here and set up Firelands offense for the first time. Looks like they're going to get it right around the 38-yard line.
We just want to remind you that all of this is possible thanks to our wonderful sponsors, Jamie Carpet Shop, located in Elyria, Amherst, and Sandusky. Shopping made simple. Lorain County Prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson. Stay safe, Lorain County. Semper Fi Plumbing. You can call them at 440-787-9138. Uncommon service is a common virtue with Semper Fi Plumbing. Brian Baker for commissioner on November 5th. Chris Kepp of Slimans. Car dealership located in Amherst. Need a Jeep? Call Chris Kepp at 440-420-0681. Zabo Apparel located at Liberty Avenue in Vermilion. Be game ready all year long. And Rich Resendez for sheriff on November 5th.
And like you said, Jared, just want to express our gratitude to them as they've helped us go through a whole season here on Saturday afternoons, bringing you the future of the Friday Night Lights here in Lorain County. So now the Falcons offense, they'll get their first turn at it, and the quarterback O'Connor is going to get in there and make a nice hit it looks like, on Gavin Rosario, but still a decent play to start the drive there for Firelands.
Yeah, Firelands has a great running offense as well. Branson Boos, you just saw Rosario right there, and Sam Lingus. Triple threat for that running offense for this Firelands Falcons team. Expect them to get the ball heavily here today against Black River.
Now they'll come to the line here, 2nd and approximately 6, as the offensive linemen are getting their splits in order. We got a receiver split out either side. Motion man coming across. They'll fake it to him, instead hand it up the middle. Nice couple cuts there as he's trying to look for a first down. He's going to get it, and that will once again be Gavin Rosario getting up to midfield.
Rosario's very quick. He has those short cuts and bursts, and he does a really good job for this run game for the Falcons. Nice gain there. Nice way to move the chains at midfield.
And it appeared that the motion there, which was Emilio Contreras coming across from bottom to top of your screen, as he might have cleared out a linebacker or two, and that patience from the halfback there made for a great play to pick up the first.
And we'll see how much quarterback Hunter McGuire throws the ball today. Haven't really seen him throw it that much this season, but could be a threat here facing Black River, knowing you're going to face them next week. But that's going to be the first penalty of the game.
And it will be a procedural one, as Firelands will be called for the false start here. So right after a couple of very positive plays, like you said, we see the first penalty of the afternoon. And now this offense will reset here, 1st and 15, with 4:40 to go on a running clock here in the first quarter.
We want to take a moment to mention how beautiful it is here today at LaGrange, Ohio. 71 degrees, sun is shining, blue skies all around, not a cloud in the sky. As McGuire fumbles that snap, Rosario is able to jump on top of that.
And doing so now, just when you were at midfield, great start to the drive, all of a sudden you're back further than where you started the drive, and this offense definitely going to look to clean that up here.
Miscommunication by the Falcons on the snap, and that's a big loss for them.
It really is, and it's a team we haven't seen. It's a common theme. We haven't seen too many great passing offenses, but Firelands, not one of the ones that we've seen be able to do it too often, so it really puts them in a tough spot here, and they'll have to try to contend with a Black River defense now that's built up a little bit of momentum. So now we'll see 2 receivers split out either side this time, trying to spread out the Pirates defense. Coming across in the motion, that's Hunter McGuire. Now at quarterback, that'll be Boost once again trying to get a high snap, and he's just going to have to eat that play there, and he loses a couple heading into 3rd down.
As you mentioned, Max, McGuire, the running back in motion there, they got to get this snap under control. That's 2 snaps in a row that were very high, and now that sets up 3rd down and long for this Falcons offense.
And it really is a tricky spot to be in here at any level. This is quite a sizable distance to overcome. But now it's maybe you just live for the 4th down for the punt, try to set up your defense with as good as field position as you can.
We saw both these teams week 2 at Black River. Black River got the victory 6-0. To look to try to do that again here today.
Snap back, that's going to be a handoff off the right side. Looks like we're going to see that get past the 35, and just a good job by Rosario there to get upfield quickly and do what he can to set them up for a possible punt opportunity.
And I think that's what the Fireland Falcons are going to elect to do.
So now each team will swap their personnel, and we'll see Black River get their 2nd opportunity of the afternoon.
We just want to remind you to make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Facebook to get all the news and notes you need to know about Lorain County Sports Network for this Friday Night Lights season and basketball season coming up.
That's right. I mean, you'll find previews, you'll find which matchups we're going to be at, and also the Friday night score recap and
the Golden Helmet Award.
Yes, that too. I mean, there's so much going on here as the season continues to push on, and we also are getting closer to determining who some conference champions may be as well. It's a very exciting time here for football.
The fall just goes by way too fast because it feels like summer and fall combined. And even though technically it's fall, it doesn't feel like fall because you never get this kind of weather in October in Ohio.
No, this visual it's fantastic. here, as well as this defense from Firelands so far, and that's going to be a big loss. And it looks like that's going to be Emilio Contreras blowing up the play.
Emilio Contreras spread that perfectly. It would get a big sack and a big loss for the Firelands defense.
Well, and a lot of success stemming from Black River running it with their quarterback O'Connor in previous times we've seen them, but so far today he's been bottled up, Jared.
And we really haven't seen Black River score that many points when we've seen them. They scored 6 points every time we've had them. Out of the 4 times we've had them, the only time they scored more than 6 points was in Week 6 against Brookside.
So now we'll see this Black River offense set up here, 2nd and 15 from their own 35. Just over a minute to go on a running clock here in the first quarter of play. We'll see a double handoff, and coming back the right side to the top of your screen, that'll be the 23 of Lincoln Ford trying to navigate through, but looks like he won't maybe just get past the original line of scrimmage there.
And I think Black River's doing a good job of getting yards after contact. Just they're not getting the blocks they need with their run game, and that's why they haven't had any positive gains yet.
So we see a couple, or just one substitution coming in, delivering the play for them, for the Pirates. That'll be Cody Cassidy, one of the receivers, and now they'll come to the line here, 3rd and long from their own 36. This could be the final play of the opening quarter. Just 20 seconds to go, and it looks like they may elect to run that out here and not run another play. So when we come back, we will open up the second quarter of play with Black River facing a 3rd and long here in a tied game at 0 apiece here on the Lorain County Sports Network. And we're back for the second quarter of play to get underway. Here we are at Keystone High School. Big thank you to the Wildcats for having the youth kids use their field after a great homecoming game last night. So now we see a loading up pass, and that's going to be picked off over the middle, and that's Sam Lingus running back the other way, and he's going to get to the 30, past the 20, and chopped out of bounds. We see a flag fly in late, possibly on the blocking on the way back, but huge momentum shifter there for Firelands.
Yeah, Firelands with a big interception, and that is the call, legal block in the back. So they get the ball right back in way better field position than their first time out. Perfect time to capitalize.
So quite an opening to the second quarter, as we hadn't seen either team go to the air yet. Black River possibly trying to catch Firelands off guards with it, and it did not work, as it seemed like there might have been 2 or 3 defenders back there that had a chance at it.
Yeah, not on the same page. Ball was thrown before the receiver was even looking, so that's a tough pill to swallow with your Black River, but now they got to capitalize here on defense.
And it'll be made a little bit easier as Firelands loses about 10 yards in field position from the penalty, but either way, Falcons with the best starting field position of anybody in this game so far.
And out of the 4 times we've had Black River, the most points they've given up is 8. So their defense has been excellent.
That will certainly be tested right here. And it'll be a pistol look now for Firelands, who has a receiver split out either side. McGuire gets it, a defender at his feet, but he's able to get the handoff away and just get back to the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's all you can ask for when a play starts like that.
Yeah, it looked like there was miscommunication on the block, and McGuire took a big hit as he hobbles over to his head coach, Matt DeFlippo, to get the play call. That was a nasty hit.
Yeah, he was just able to get that ball off to Gavin Rosario, and will now set up 2nd and 8 here, as you mentioned, Rosario moving a little bit slower now, and see how that affects him, how he adjusts the rest of the afternoon. Gets the snap, he'll hand it to the other side. Once again, we'll see a cut made by Rosario, but still just a gain of 1, so that Black River defense responding well to the turnover.
And that was a game-saving tackle by number 11, Aiden Payne, able to bring down Rosario. If he's not able to do that, Rosario could go all the way in for the touchdown. He had that left side wide open, green grass, and could have been in there for 6.
Well, you mentioned that Rosario, he's had a couple nice cutbacks so far today, and that just speaks to how well he's reading the holes here. And standing a little bit shorter than most of his O-line, certainly that's helping Black River not be able to get a look at him.
Firelands is known for their run game. We know that with their high school team as well.
So now we'll see a play action, this time rolling left, flag early, but he's going to go up top. There's nobody back deep for Black River, and that's going to be a catch and run by Sam Lingus, who had the interception. He'll get in for the touchdown, but will it stand? Does not appear it will. They're going to hit Firelands with a holding call, to the dismay of the staff over there, and they'll have to replay 3rd down now.
Perfect design play. Nobody open on that left side, and a costly penalty takes away the points.
And like you said, just the play action drew everybody up, and I mean, I even was convinced that's where they were heading. Instead, Lingus sat down. He didn't even have to keep running his route. He just sat down around the 20 and looked a lot like he did on that interception return. So I got to imagine they'll go back to him at some point here, but 3rd and long in the meantime.
And if you're Firelands, I'm going back to that play. You're inside the 40. You're not going to elect the 25-yard punt. This is 4th down territory in my mind, and I go back to that same play.
So we'll see if they choose to do so here. Black River now having one safety back deep, monitoring that. It will be a run this time, cutting up the middle, back across the right side of the formation. That's going to be Harrison Leonhardt, and he's going to get all the way up past the 20, makes one cut, powering through another, and he's finally dragged down inside the 10. 1st and goal for Firelands. Wow.
What a great job by Leinhardt. Saw the traffic on that left side, cut all the way to the other side of the field, got a positive gain, the 1st down, and now in the red zone, 1st and goal for the Firelands Falcons. What a run.
Well, and that just seems to speak to Black River's defense right now, not staying home backside. We're seeing a few times now where these cutback lanes are open, and clearly Firelands has the speed to take advantage of it at the running back position.
We haven't really seen Harrison Leinhardt run the ball that much this season, but it's good to see he got a big play there for his team. And
the Falcons team now with 6 minutes to go and running here in the 2nd quarter of play with a tied game. No points just yet. They're in perfect position against Black River. We'll see a motion. They'll fake it to him, and the motion man gets blown up, but it was the perfect cover as Firelands is going to be close. They'll mark him down at the 1-yard line, setting up 2nd and goal.
And again, Leinhardt with that impressive run.
That it was, and he showed off the power that time as he had some deception the play before with speed. And tell you what, the motion man, sometimes it can cause a defender to run with him right there. It caused him to run right at him, and he paid the price, but he was the perfect decoy on that play.
And you see Leinhardt lined up in the backfield once again. You got to imagine he's going to get the ball.
And he doesn't look tired at all, so setting up in the pistol behind his quarterback Boos, and we'll have another false start penalty here in this game.
And that's a costly one for Firelands, especially that close to the end zone.
And at this point in the season, if you're a fan or coach, and I'm sure the players, they want to see that cleaned up by now to have the chemistry down on offense. But clock will run as they set up back at the 6-yard line. So effectively back where they began this first down and goal, but second down now. And we'll see some communication between one of his receivers, Lingus, who did have a catch called back.
Looks like they're going to run that same play.
And before Firelands can get the snap off, the official has something to tell Harrison.
I don't think he motioned correctly.
And yeah, the way the official kind of showing him a correct stance to be in, I think you're right, Jared. So now he will exit the game, and taking his place will be Gavin Rosario. So now we're going to see a nice juke in the backfield, and then he's blown up, met at the 5-yard line. Yeah, no, they're going to say the 6, so it was a good start to the play, not a great finish for Firelands.
As Leinhardt checks back in, Rosario check back out.
So Boost was a little slow getting up there, the quarterback, after running it, but looks like the Falcons want to talk this over a little more ahead of this third down play, so we'll step aside with them, and when we come back, we'll see if Black River can continue to stand tall here inside the 10 on the Lorain County Sports Network. And you hear the Black River cheer squad trying to get this Pirates crowd fired up for a third down and goal here. 4:09 to go in the second quarter. And Firelands looking to put the first points on the board of the afternoon. They'll get the snap, hand it left side. That'll go to Rosario. He'll try to cut it back once again, but not going to get away from a crowd of Pirates there, bringing up 4th and goal.
And it looks like they're going to mark him at the 4-yard line, 4th and goal. And if you're Firelands here, what do? Do you run it again, or you try to go pass and surprise that Black River defense?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because we've seen Black River sell out for the run just about every play up. And Firelands could try their best to take advantage of that, catch them napping here.
And remember, they had that great passing play for a touchdown that got called back. Their only passing attempt in the game so far.
So it'll be from the 4-yard line here as we're getting closer to halftime, just over 3 minutes until then. In game time, at least. We'll see if that holds true. So Firelands will come up, have a receiver either side. Pistol formation. Looks like that will be Rosario in the backfield behind McGuire at quarterback. Motion coming, and this time they're going to give it to the motion man, trying to cut around some defenders, heading for the front pylon, and that's going to be a touchdown. Great speed shown off by Lingus that time for the Falcons.
That's a great jet sweep play by the Falcons, able to get their first score of the game and their first lead against Black River ever in this second matchup.
And we thought we might see him as a weapon through the air. Right there, they find a way to get him the ball, which is huge in a game like this where we're just 2:48 away from halftime, and that's the first points of the day.
We know here, especially in the junior LC8, you want to possess the ball to start out the game. But ironically, Firelands won the toss and they deferred, so they get the ball to start the second half.
That's a great point, working with a lot in their favor at the moment. We'll see if Black River can stand tall, as it's going to be from the 3-yard line, and it looked like the ball made it come out, but they're going to say he broke the plane before that happened, so 7-0.
That was Gavin Rosario on the carry there.
So check that. That may have been from the 5, so it looks like that'll be 8-0 here from the officials. So Firelands has the lead, and now they'll look to defend it against a Black River offense that hasn't been able to get much of a rhythm going today. So now Black River setting up in their huddle. So it turns out that was from the 3, so that will bring the point total back down to 7 for Firelands. And Black River now will have a 7-point deficit working against them here before halftime. So O'Connor will bring the troops up. He's got potentially an extra, so they do have an extra player on the field right now. He'll come running off. And now there'll be a penalty that could either be delay of game or 12 men in the huddle. Either way, not the ideal start to a drive here coming out of a timeout.
Especially when you have short time left on the clock and you want to try to get a scoring drive before the half because you know Firelands is going to get the ball to start out.
That's right. So this offense here will operate from 1st and 15 at their own 30. And we'll see if that changes up how they'll start this drive. As the one pass attempt that they have so far turned into an interception. So now we'll see a motion across. Mangan going to get that handoff, and he's trying to find a spot to go, but they keep stringing him out. He'll cut upfield eventually, not till he's outside the numbers. So Firelands really set the edge for a moment there.
And Mangan did a good job on that left side, continuing with the play, able to make up for that penalty.
So they do almost get all of the yards back there. Be 2nd and 11 now. For a Firelands defense that really they just got to defend for 2 more minutes. Obviously some timeouts will be shuffled in there as we get closer to the end of the half, but you got to imagine if they can come up with a stop here, open the second half with the ball, it'll go a long way in setting up for some nice momentum heading into the playoffs next week. Mangan in motion once again. They'll fake it to him. This time O'Connor loading up, going deep. Looks like a crossing route over the middle and almost caught, but that's going to be tipped away and fall incomplete.
That was Emilio Contreras on the coverage, able to break that up.
Well, it looked like that was going in the direction of Turner Walter, who we've seen as a runner in our previous times covering them here on the Lorain County Sports Network, but right there trying to find him down the field, and just once again it looks like this Firelands defense is doing a good job of just bracketing guys, and there seems to be at least a couple or a handful of defenders each time they try to throw the ball. So 1:18 left here in the half. With Black River setting up 3rd and 11 from their own 34-yard line. Motion coming across. They'll hand it to him. That might have been one of those double handoffs. We won't get to see the end of that. And a big tackle for loss on 3rd and long before halftime.
Lincoln Ford not able to corral that handoff as he's slow to get up. A big loss for Black River here towards the end of the first half.
And I mean, I feel like we've said this guy's name a lot. Emilio Contreras was the one that hit that for a loss. So he's been all over the field here in this first half, as it looks like a timeout has been taken. Got to assume that's from Firelands, trying to get one more possession here before the end of the second quarter. Now we do have the clock moving here on the scoreboard. I take it they will add more time though, as it is down to 3, 2, 1, but certainly likely that we'll see a few more seconds put back on. That's what the officials will signal for now, is I think they're trying to determine how much time was left when that started running. So it officially will be set at 44 seconds. Here as Black River still hasn't made the motion yet for a 25-yard punt, so it would be very dangerous to attempt to go for it here deep in their own end like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite what the discussion was in that timeout. They Firelands has 2 timeouts remaining, so they have some time and they can get down the field quickly to stop the clock and get some points here before halftime.
Yeah, and like you said, they've shown some potential doing that, so very dangerous call here for Black Rivers. They're going to trust Anthony O'Connor. And another stoppage is slightly early trigger on the clock, so they'll have to reset that back up to 44. And like we've alluded to, very close to halftime here. When that comes, we'll give you a quick scoring recap of the game so far and anything you may have missed. Now we'll see Black River try a run from O'Connor. He initially trips up around the 35, but gets past the original line of scrimmage up to the 38, but that's all he'll get. And with 34 seconds left in the half, now Firelands will have a chance to go score again.
And in great field position, but I really don't understand the thinking there by head coach Anthony O'Connor. Just select a 25-yard punt. Make sure Firelands doesn't even have a chance to score with this short time left. But now Firelands handed a golden opportunity to try to make it 2 scores before halftime, knowing they're going to get the ball to start the second half.
All very true, and I guess the one thing that crosses my mind, they were at their own 30 or so maybe he's thinking Firelands' zone 45 still enough space to go work with, but I mean, we're talking about now 17 yards in field difference, and at this level, that is almost half a field. So now we'll see what the Falcons can do with 34 seconds till halftime, holding a 7-0 lead. Snap back, they will hand it off, and that's going to go to Lionheart as he gets up ahead inside the 35.
The Falcons got to hurry here. They only have 1 timeout remaining.
Yeah, we're at 20, 19, 18 on a running clock. No huddle here. We'll see how that impacts the playmaking, and they're going to hand it off again right side. Lionheart may get away this time as he's down inside the 20, stiff-arming a man. He's not going to get out of bounds, but they will use one of the timeouts. So a huge play there with 5 seconds to go till halftime, Jared.
And a game-saving tackle right there. Could have been 6 points easily. And now Falcons have life here with short time.
That they do, and now we'll see if Black River, at this level, do you pull off a prevent defense here? Do you got 3 guys in the end zone? Or, I mean, Firelands just showed they can run it for at least 20 yards in a play. They might try to do it again.
I mean, I would try to go 3-man deep just in case they do a pass. They've only thrown 1 pass today, but you want to make sure nothing gets past you with short time. You know you're not going to hit a field goal, so.
Sure. Very true. And, yeah, I think we got to at least look at Sam Lingus, try to find where he is before this play starts, as he was on that lone pass play you referred to, able to get behind the Pirates defense. They very well could go back to that here. So now they'll retake the field, and they may go for broke here through the air as we've got Lingus as well as Boost at the bottom of your screen. Another receiver up top. It'll be Hunter McGuire in the game. He looks over to the sideline. Now they're ready to go. 5 seconds to go here in the second quarter. He'll roll left. He's got some pressure on him quickly, and he tried to get it out into the flat to Harrison Leonhardt, but not able to convert, and that'll bring an end to this first half here from Keystone High School, where we've got the Firelands Falcons up 7-0, set to get the ball to open the third quarter over Black River. We'll step aside for the start of halftime. When we come back, we'll give you a quick recap of how we got to this point here in the first of our doubleheader this afternoon. Until then, stay tuned here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome back here on the Lorain County Sports Network as we are at halftime of our first game of the day between Black River and Firelands. As you can see on that great scoreboard in front of you, the Falcons managed to take a 7-0 lead here in this game as it came by way of a Sam Lingus touchdown run, and that got them up to a 7-0 lead in the second quarter of play. Black River had an interception that helped set that up. So they really are trying to figure out that offense are the Pirates, but they're going to have to wait a little longer to do so as Firelands, with the lead, is going to open this second half of play with the ball, Jared.
Yeah, Firelands with all the momentum heading into this second half. And like we said at the top of the hour, Max, these two teams are not only facing each other today, but they're facing each other next week in the playoffs. So this is basically a trial game for both teams. What they think is going to work, what they think is not going to work, because when it comes to postseason time next week, none of it matters.
Yeah, no, those matchups are set and in place, as it is going to be two matchups, and we'll bring you at least one of them, if not both, depending on if they're hosted at the same location. So we'll update that throughout the week as best we can on our social media, WOBL, WDLW Sports on Facebook, and the Junior LC8 football page group on Facebook. We'll give you those updates too. And there were a couple teams in there that actually were able to secure first-round buys, and we'll see how valuable that is. Maybe it won't be as much as we think. Maybe the week off will have them react a little oddly, but it is going to be Wellington as well as Brookside with the buys to open the playoffs.
And the winner of next week's game between Firelands and Black River will face Wellington. The winner of Columbia and Keystone next week, who we also have after this, will face Brookside.
So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out, and we'll bring you all of that coverage here on YouTube. Now to open the third quarter, we get a handoff around the right side to Gavin Rosario, and we saw a healthy dose of him in that first half.
And I expect Rosario and Lionheart to get most of the carries. We saw Lionheart had those two big runs, especially that one to end the second quarter. So I expect him and Rosario to get most of the runs here. Still have only seen one pass from Hunter McGuire, but that got taken back due to a holding penalty. So, I mean, if I'm Black River's defense, I'm not expecting any passes here in the second half.
No, not at all, and especially with the Falcons holding the lead at the moment. And you also brought up Lionheart there. We hadn't seen much of him, didn't expect much of him as one of the main contributors, so I'm sure the Falcons are very pleasantly surprised about that here in this game. And once again, we'll see Rosario scamper over the right side and get shoved out of bounds just before the first down.
And we know since week one how quick the quarters go here in the Junior LC8. Only 9-minute quarters, so realistically, Firelands doesn't have to do anything. They just have to run out the clock and make sure they don't turn over the ball and don't have any costly penalties.
And we have had several teams do that with success this year. The only time where we've seen that backfire is if a team's offense gets too much into just running the ball, trying to take the air out of it and not being at all urgent. And the other team, if they spring a big play, that's the only time we've seen that really come back to bite anybody. But this Firelands defense has played so well that it's just can't imagine seeing a Black River chunk play. Obviously, the Pirates will be looking to change that. And Jared, you hit on it when we opened the third quarter about penalties, avoiding them. Well, Firelands not able to do so. And now this third and short becomes a little more difficult.
And we'll see what the Falcons offense can muster up.
Yeah, and there it was likely going to be a very straightforward call with either Rosario or one of their other running backs getting a dive up the middle or a little stretch play. But now they may have to opt to something to the perimeter or provide a little trickery with the motion. We've seen both teams enjoy using jet sweep motion. So we'll see what the Falcons come up with here as the offensive line gets their splits in place. It will be Rosario in the pistol behind his quarterback, McGuire, who uses the hard count beautifully there as several Pirates came across early, even knocking Andrew Draga to the ground.
Yeah, Troy Davis, the victim on that. He just got a little too eager on that defensive end side for the Pirates. and then they get the penalty right back.
Well, that's a great use of that there. McGuire really selling it too throughout the whole lead up to saying hut. And Black River fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. As we're at 6.5 minutes to go on a running clock here in the third quarter from Keystone High School. Now Firelands will come back to the line, 3rd and 1 once again. We'll see if we can avoid any dirty laundry on the field before this snap. And this time we're going to see one of the Falcons offensive linemen come out of his block, or out of his stance a little early into a block. So that's 3 plays in a row now. Just
broadcaster jinx, Max. You remind me too, I got to do my laundry when I get home. That was Andrew Draga that jumped too early for the Falcons, and now back and forth these teams go with exchanging some penalties.
Yeah, I'm causing the officials here their steps. I mean, they're getting them in 5 yards forward, 5 yards back. And now it'll be at the 39-yard line. As I'm sure that Black River defense now fully expecting a hard count. We'll see how they react here. McGuire with the same formation we've seen now for the 4th play in a row. But this time a motion involved, so they're stacking up heavy on that right side. Coordinating the formation with his receivers. Motion across, they'll do a play action, throw it to the, check that, that's going to go over the head of the motion man. Caught downfield by Lingus, as we've seen him a couple times, dangerous in open field. He's going to pull away, get shoved out of bounds at the 30-yard line or so.
There is a flag down, 2 flags actually, where Lingus caught that pass, so we could see a holding call or potential block in the back. They're moving the chain, so it looks like the catch is going to count, but it's going to come back with whatever penalty was after the catch.
Well, it appears it may have been on one of the Black River defenders. Got his hand a little bit too high, and I think they signaled for face mask there. So we've seen 4 plays in a row, technically, with a penalty. This one will be declined as they'll set up shop here at the 27-yard line.
And Firelands has had success in the pass today. That's their 2nd play-action pass, and it's been for positive yardage and a lot of it. So if you're Firelands here, continue with the play-action, continue with the pass, continue to score.
Yeah, it does appear they've been a little more conservative with that, opting not for it as often as maybe they could. So under 5 minutes to go now in the third. We'll go back to the running game here, and that's going to be the 26 of Lionheart. We've seen him a couple times make some big plays, and he'll rumble down close to the 10, moving the chains once again.
We've seen it from every junior LC8 team this year. Their running back game is just relentless. It's just amazing to watch, whether it's the junior LC8 or high school. This LC8 conference, young or older, if you want to put it that way, have great running backs.
That's right. They better get used to it now as 5th and 6th graders, because it's not going anywhere. You're absolutely right about that, and it really will test the conditioning as we see a couple subs there for the Pirates defense as they now try to prevent another score. Handoff left side, Lionheart. He cuts it back upfield, plunges ahead, and he's going to be close. They'll mark him down at the 1, but another productive play here for this Falcons offense.
Another productive run by Lionheart, too. I think if he would have went to that outside on the left, he would have been able to score for the easy touchdown, but he decided to cut back in. And this is where we saw Firelands last time on their drive at the 1, able to score. Yeah, let's see if they go back to that jet sweep the way they scored the first time.
Well, I think it is an interesting point you bring up there, is it looked like he might have had the pylon in his sights if he had opted around his blocker and cuts it up instead. Now they'll run through a little more clock here, just over 3.5 to go in the third. Here in the first of our doubleheader this afternoon. Coming up after this will be Columbia against the hosting Keystone Junior Wildcats. But back in this game, we'll see a motion. They fake that, and Lionheart is going to take it. And it looks like he's going to have enough. He will find his way into the end zone for another Firelands touchdown as they go up 13-0 here in the third quarter over Black River.
And I think if you're Firelands, you found a recipe for success and using Lionheart, and they're definitely going to consider that next week when they face this Black River team again.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And like we talked about, there's a few things you can try to work on, maybe a couple tweaks before that playoff matchup, but just going at them physically, I mean, there's not much you can do to adjust for that. That's just going to come down to the will of the blockers versus these defenders here for the Pirates. So got to wonder if that'll have any carryover effect into next week. Right now, it looks like we'll see a 1-point conversion attempt as McGuire sets up in the pistol. He's going to bring a motion man and DiFilippo. But they're going to get a false start on this offense. And despite a very successful drive, that's the third time we've seen a false start here for Firelands on this drive to open the third quarter.
And we saw on their first drive, they were on the 1-yard line, had a false start penalty, but were able to come back and get the touchdown. So Firelands was able to recover when this happened the first time. Let's see if they can do it again, this time going for an extra point.
It could prove to be a crucial one. As we've seen a few times this season, these point-after tries can be the difference in a ball game. In fact, just last week when we had Brookside and Columbia, it was a 14-13 final. So that obviously came down to the 1s and 2s after the touchdowns. So now we'll see a motion man across before the play. James Norton set up over on that left side. Two receivers on either side of the formation. DiFilippo will motion in close to his man. They're going to throw that direction, trying to get in there for the conversion. It'll fall incomplete, but we've got a flag down. And they will motion for pass interference on the defense. So it looked like he had Contreras and DiFilippo over there, but they both kind of ended up in the same location. That just makes it a tougher throw for sure.
And basically makes up for the false start penalty that the Fireland Falcons had earlier. So they'll get another try.
And that's one thing I think we can point to at the end of this game is a lot of missed opportunities by both sides when it comes to these penalties. So now they'll set back up at the 4-yard line or so, maybe the 4.5, and now it'll be a handoff up the middle, nothing fancy, and they get it in from 4 yards out though. Just a great job there. As once again, looks like it'll be the 26 of Lionheart. So we'll step aside as the Falcons have taken a 14-0 lead here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in the third quarter with around 3:21 to go. Black River's offense taking the field now, facing a 14-point deficit here in this second half. As it'll be their first opportunity to take the field here in the third quarter. O'Connor in the backfield with 2 Pirates around him. He'll have a motion man. He'll fake it to him, set up the pass. He's thrown it to the corner, but just out of the reach of Turner Walter and a Firelands defender.
That was Braylon Allen in coverage there on Turner. And that's really the first time we've seen Black River throw the ball down 2 scores. You kind of have to now with short time. We know how fast the clock runs in junior LC8. We said at the top of the hour, in week 2, Black River beat Firelands at Black River 6-0. And if Firelands is able to pull this one out, it'll be a best of 3 next week in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that makes this matchup even more interesting as we've seen a couple different versions of each team here when we've covered them. And Firelands definitely operating at close to their best that we've seen all season. In Black River, we've definitely seen them be more efficient and operate a little more successfully. So now they'll hand it off around the left side. Mason Mangan, one of their key playmakers, hasn't gotten the ball a lot today, but he takes advantage of his time here, picking up a first down.
Able to move the chains Good run there by Magan on that left side. It was short time here in the third quarter. You'd love to get a score before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, and I got to imagine he will have to be a key cog in doing that, as we're under 3 minutes until that fourth quarter begins. And they are pretty close to midfield, so they're making at least quick progress at the start of this drive. So now we'll have 4 guys in the backfield. May see one move out before the start of the play. So Walter will go up in a tight end spot. O'Connor will bring Mangan once again, and we have another penalty. So both sides on these motions, they still haven't been able to get them down yet.
And that's a costly penalty for Black River, especially after just getting a first down.
So now the clock will start up again. 2:20 to go here in the third. Back at their own 41. Same formation as the play ago. Will it be the same play? Well, we won't know, but the players will. Here we go. Mangan, they'll fake it to him. They'll go back around the right side. That's going to be the 21 of Carter Frost, trying to get what he can back, and picks up around 3.
That's the first carry we see from Carter Frost today. Haven't really seen a lot of him. It's mainly been Lincoln Ford getting the carries today. We know how versatile they're in their run game. Merle Clyde Jr. is out today, one of their other star running backs. They got 3 others they really haven't used that much besides Ford.
Yeah, and that brings up a interesting point there, as now they'll have to find some other playmakers in his place, as he's been pretty key on a lot of those motions that they like to use in the jet sweeps and those double handoffs. So now they'll come out in an I formation. O'Connor is at the bottom of your screen here as a receiver. And it looks like that'll be Lincoln Ford pitching it out to Turner Walter, but he won't get very far. Just a couple yards there, bringing up 3rd and long.
And I like the idea of trying to confuse the defense, but now down 2 scores. You got to imagine this is 4th down territory for Black River, and you got to start passing the ball if you want to have any chance coming back in this game, because the quarters aren't that long here in the junior LC8.
Yeah, speaking of which, just a minute to go here in this third quarter. Now we're under that mark. Black River definitely will have to operate with a little more urgency. They hope to get back in this game. So now we got Frost next to O'Connor in the backfield. 2 receivers up top. Looks like Mangan's going to come across. They'll give it to him. And it's a low handoff, and he's not able to get a hand on it. Firelands is going to jump on it, and they'll get the ball back on the plus side of the 50 with 24 seconds to go here in the third.
And that was Walter trying to hand that off to Ford. And I believe on that handoff, it went off his leg. And a costly turnover for Black River.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he did what he could to reach down and grab it, but just not great location for him to put it in the breadbasket. And now, I mean, we were talking about scoring before the end of the quarter. Black River may be lucky to score before the end of this game. I mean, with how great the running attack has been for Firelands.
Yeah, and that's the 2nd turnover now for Black River. Firelands was able to cash in with a touchdown on the interception that Black River had back in the first half. And they'll look to do that again here. And the 4 times we've seen Black River, they've never been shut out. They've always had some type of points on the board. And they're on the verge of getting shut out here today.
And Firelands would like nothing more than to secure that and to secure a win heading into week 8. For the first round of playoffs. So McGuire will bring the offense back out, and we'll have Gavin Rosario behind him to start this drive. He'll turn, hand it to him off the right side, but he's met immediately by O'Connor as well as the 70 of Jasper Landrum. Getting maybe back to the line of scrimmage on that one. And the Falcons will be content to let the rest of the quarter clock run out here. So heading into the 4th, we'll have Firelands holding a 14-0 lead as they drive into Black River territory. We'll find out how this finishes out here when we come back on the Lorain County Sports Network. here in the fourth quarter from Keystone High School as we bring you the final quarter of play here in the first of our doubleheader between Firelands and Black River. Firelands going to start the fourth here on 2nd down and 10 with an end around on a jet sweep of sorts, that one picking up a few yards. So they'll set that at the 33 here for 3rd and 3.
That was Emil Contreras on that carry.
Yeah, and he's somebody that, you know, he's had a big impact on defense. They haven't needed him as much on offense, though, this afternoon. So now we'll see how they choose to attack here as they've gone to the air a couple times with great success, but with just over 8 minutes to play, holding this 2-possession lead, they have to feel almost no need to do so. So it's going to be Rosario lined up behind McGuire this time. We'll see a handoff around the right side, and there's going to be a couple cuts made around some blockers. Contreras trying his best to get away. A couple penalties flying in late as well.
And I believe it's going to be a hands to the face on Contreras, or no, a face mask instead. So that's going to be a big penalty for Firelands.
Well, now that's the second face mask penalty we've seen while Firelands is on offense. Only this time, like you said, it goes against them. It actually happened on a big play last drive to help keep a drive going on a big play, but right there it makes this 3rd down feel almost impossible to get.
That's huge for Black River because even if Firelands elects a 25-yard punt, they're in way better field position. Assuming Firelands doesn't convert on this 3rd down, doesn't get a huge gain.
That's right, and in a spot like this, Firelands, some of their guys on offense may feel the need to try to force or push for a big play. So now that could lead to some mistakes. We'll see how aggressive they choose to be here right around midfield. Just over 7 minutes remaining here in the fourth. We'll see a fake this time and just give it up the middle to Rosario. Gets what he can, and he'll set up at around the 44, giving this Firelands coaching staff a decision to make now.
If you're Firelands, I think up by 2 scores, you're just going to go for it here on 4th down. Try to chew as many clock as possible.
Yes, and that clock, I mean, it's tough enough to go and score a single touchdown here in the LC8. But under 7 minutes to go, 2 touchdown drives. It's quite a tough task to overcome. And it looks like Firelands will make it a little more difficult for Black River as they're going to elect for the punt and set up the Pirates at their own 20. Here with 6:42 remaining in the fourth quarter. While we get a switch in personnel on the field, I'd love to remind you the organizations, local businesses, and such that are giving us the opportunity to be out here as we'll look at Jamie's Carpet Shop, one of our only returning sponsor from last season. Shopping made simple. Also, Lorain County Prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson. Stay safe, Lorain County. Brian Baker for Commissioner on November 5th. Rich Resendez for Sheriff on November 5th as well. Zabo Apparel giving us all our game day gear. So we're ready all year long. Are you? Go check them out on Liberty Avenue in Vermillion. Chris Kepp of Slimans over in Amherst. And Semper Fi Plumbing. Uncommon service is a common virtue with Semper Fi Plumbing. So now O'Connor gets the snap back to start this drive. He'll hand it off around the left edge there. That goes to Carter Frost, and he'll get up ahead for maybe a yard.
Well, let's see what Black River's game plan is here with short time. You know you're going to face Firelands next week in the first round of the playoffs. They might just be testing out some plays here and maybe not focusing on scoring.
That could be. I think that's a great point you raised there, as we are just over 6 minutes to go here in the game. And, I mean, in a spot like this, Firelands may be anticipating pass, and they've got at least one deep safety just off your screen. And their corners at the moment are playing off, so anticipating not giving up anything big here. no chunk plays. And one of those wrinkles that you kind of hinted we might see, O'Connor once again out at receiver, and it's going to be Walter throwing it to Frost, and big hit right there by Draga as he's going to make sure that play goes nowhere. What a collision. So that'll bring up 3rd down with 5.5 to go in the 4th. We have an injured Pirate down on the field, so we'll step aside, and when we come back, we'll bring you this 3rd down attempt from Black River here on the Lorain County Sports Network. And we return here in the 4th quarter as Black River's offense will now set up from their own 18-yard line for a 3rd and 12, trailing by a couple of scores. And like we've seen for a couple plays in a row, O'Connor will remain out of the backfield, not at quarterback, and instead it's Turner Walter, and we're going to see a handoff up the middle. Draga, you heard me say his name last play, and he shows up again to force 4th down now for Black River. It's going to be a timeout called by Black River as well, so they want some time to think about this play a little bit further as each team will go to the sideline. So we'll take one with them, and when we come back, we'll see what the Pirates have in store for 4th down deep in their own territory. So we now return here with 4:52 remaining in the 4th quarter as Black River comes out of the timeout, hoping to convert here on 4th and long from deep within their own territory. Now Connor is in the backfield this time, but at running back, and we'll have a false start by one of the receivers, so that'll make this 4th down try even tougher than it was already going to be.
This is a big play in the game for Black River. If they don't score here, then their hopes are pretty much going to be gone with 4:52 remaining.
It's not only the momentum shift going back to Firelands, who has owned it for the large part of this game, but also, I mean, it sets the Falcons up in prime opportunity to go score another one. And I mean, I personally, covering this league the past year and a half, never seen a team come back from 3 scores. We have seen a couple of 2-possession game comebacks, but never 3. So now we're going to see. So they're trying to get the hard count. They saw Firelands have some success with it, but their own guys jumping for the 2nd straight false start.
And not on the same page there with his receivers as James O'Connor. So they're just going to elect to kick now. They kind of don't have no choice, pin back in their end zone.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I'm not sure if any passing game in this league would be able to overcome that without it being all the way to the end zone, for that matter. So just under 4 minutes remaining here in the final quarter. Just previewing our next matchup of the afternoon, as the Columbia Raiders will travel in here to take on the hosting Keystone Wildcats, a matchup that we actually had the chance to see back in week 2, and Columbia will look to get revenge from that one.
Yeah, Keystone getting the victory 12-6, and Columbia will look to get revenge, but also another trial game because they'll be facing each other in that first round of the playoffs next week.
So now Firelands will come back out here on offense. And we'll see how much urgency they have. Black River rushing a player off right before the snap, and that snap was a low one. So already a negative play to start this drive for Firelands.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Max. Lakin Ford sprinting off that field into a baseball slide, not getting a penalty, and he did that just in the nick of time right before the snap.
I was going to ask you, and I know Sam, you guys are both baseball guys. I was going to ask you if that was pretty routine, pretty good slide there.
Oh, yeah, that was a textbook slide right there.
And so he was able to avoid a penalty on that one. And so Firelands will now come to the line 2nd and 15. McGuire able to pick up that snap virtually and hand it off left side. We'll see a flag thrown in, but another great cutback being done by one of these Falcons runners, as Harrison Lionheart did what he could to get the penalty yard or the fumble yardage back. It looks like they'll be moving back anyways.
Yeah, another hold on the offensive line by the Firelands Falcons, so that's going to push them back even further.
So what essentially we thought of as a slam the door shut on this game kind of drive after forcing a 25-yard punt, now this Falcons offense finds themselves in a little bit of trouble here on this one, as they're 15 yards back from the original line of scrimmage at the 30.
With short time left in this fourth quarter and up by 2 scores, I'm sure they're not worried about it. Just 2:45 left to play.
They'll look to avoid any more mistakes here on this play. Coming up with the pistol formation. McGuire surveying the field, and now looks like he's ready to go. Turn handoff going on the right side. Another great cutback over to the left, and running through a couple defenders will be Lionheart, and that's not the first time we've seen that this afternoon.
Yeah, Lionheart has done a great job today of breaking tackles, getting yards after contact. Really has done well in this game here today against Black River. Lost his shoe there, too.
I was going to say, he's trying to get that back on. We'll see if it forces him to miss any plays here. It looks like he's going to stay in the huddle, try to get that figured out, as they'll likely need him here for 3rd and long. Under 2 minutes remaining on a running clock here in the fourth quarter. And we invite you to stick around on the channel. Now, at the conclusion of this game, we will end this live stream, but be on the lookout, especially you Keystone and Columbia fans, as we'll bring you that shortly after this game ends on a new live stream here on the Lorain County Sports Network. So Firelands will set up here, 3rd and around 14. It looked like it was supposed to be a hard count, but the snap comes back. Nobody else moved, and they're going to just do what they can to avoid any further mistakes or fumbles. That's going to be around a 6-yard loss.
I think everyone thought that was a hard count, but the center, unfortunately, for the Firelands offense. That's going to push them back even further. But with short time, up by 2 scores, you're really just trying to run out the clock here and defend if you're the Fireland Falcons.
Well, just a heads-up play there by McGuire to grab it, as it was even though it was snapped early, it was still a little low, so he's able to grab that and just hand it off rather than giving Black River a chance to pick it up or do anything with it. As you mentioned, 42 seconds to go. They will likely need just one more snap here if Black River does not call a timeout to stop the game clock. Or well, check that. With it being 4th down, there will potentially be a little bit of time left on the clock, so we'll see a motion across the formation. That's going to be DiFilippo getting this one, doing what he can to fight for some yards, but he'll lose a couple, and that'll be a turnover on downs with 15 seconds remaining here in the quarters. Black River's offense will get one more chance to work on a few things before playoffs begin next week. So with the two sides swapping offense for defense and defense for offense, interested to see if O'Connor will line up at the quarterback spot at all, or if he'll just remain as one of their skill position players.
We've seen O'Connor do that a few times today, lined up as a receiver. Could hear potentially, but hasn't gotten any targets yet.
No, he's not. And being such a great runner, one of their better playmakers, surprised he hasn't seen a catch or a handoff opportunity out of the quarterback position. So this could be the final play of the game. And if so, we'll just remind you that Firelands has been pretty dominant this afternoon as they got their first touchdown in the second quarter of the game from a Lionheart rushing touchdown from 4 yards out, and then in the late third quarter picking up another score. Certainly not a perfect game by their standards, but plenty to be happy about moving into the final week, and plenty to be happy about there as they shut that double reverse down and likely will end the game here as each of the coaching staffs will let the clock run out and bring an end to this first matchup of our doubleheader.
So both these teams have split, and it'll be a best of 3 next week in the first round of the playoffs.
That's right. It'll be fun to see if they what each of them have taken from and learned from the first couple matchups, and we will likely see that one as well. We'll get you, like I said, more information throughout the coming week if that'll be the case. So we're going to bring an end to this current live stream, but don't forget to subscribe and like this video and stick around, especially if you are a Wildcat or Raider fan, as we'll be bringing you Game 2 very soon here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Have a great rest of your weekend.